This should be a competitive game, well-balanced matchup, similar records against, similar results against common opponents. The Chargers have played a few more Christian academy schools than the Cougars. You could argue that the Cougars have had a tougher schedule, but the Chargers have won in a dominant way several games. So should be a good matchup for the Cougars. Cougars have 5 games remaining on their regular season schedule. Tonight is senior night. Cougars have Clevenger, Nelson, Michael Perigin, Edgar Nito, Bennett Thomas, and Gavin Dole, seniors, starting tonight for the Cougars. Case and Hamlin up top for the Cougars, along with Nelson and Clevenger. The Lighthouse Chargers have the opening kick. Number 22, the leading goal scorer for the Chargers, Xander Powell, taking the kickoff. And that's the opening whistle. We're underway. Chargers bring it to the near side. Over here to number 16, Birch. Oliver Birch gets pressured by Hamlin. Birch plays it down the line. Brandon Schumacher's there to win it. Drops it back to Dole. Dole has no pressure coming. Taking his time, looking for an option. Plays it to the near side for Hamlin. Hamlin traps it down. He's able to get it back to the middle for Perigin. Perigin looks up for Clevenger on the run. Plays it over the top. Nelson's there. Nelson gets into the box, looks up at the shot, and plays it over the goal. Good early opportunity for the Cougars. Liam Nelson making the run along with Hudson Clevenger. Ball over the top by Perigin. Restart by the Chargers into the middle of the field. That's number 20, Connor Vick on the ball. Plays it to the wide side. Back to the back line. Played over to the far side. Edgar Nato steps in on the challenge with Vick. Nato's able to win it down the line. Still on the ball as he carries. Nato into the corner. Dislodged in the corner by number 18. That's Sergio Solomon. Solomon back into the middle of the field. Ben Schumacher's there to get a touch. He settles it down. Plays it over to Perigin. Perigin looks up to see what he's got. Takes the shot. And rolls into the keeper. Keeper number 12, Wyatt Clough. Clough sends a low ball into the middle. Number 22, Xander Powell receives it, plays it to the far side. Connor Vick chases to the corner. Played back into the middle for number 5, Eddings. Titus Eddings, the leading assist holder for the Chargers. Perigin steals at the top, turns into transition, plays it through to Clevenger. Well-timed run by Clevenger. He's able to track back to receive it. Tries to play it over to Perigin, deflected away by number 9, Morrison. Ben Schumacher chases for the ball. Vick is able to get it for the Chargers. Vick down the line into the middle. Dole deflects it away, and Nato tracks back to win it. Meningus there, plays it over the top. Nelson settles it with his chest on the far side. Number 18, Solomon comes in a challenge, and it's out of play. It will be a throw for the Cougars. Quick throw into Perigin. Perigin tries to settle. Handball called on Perigin. It will be a free kick for the Chargers. Driving ball into the middle, one touch by Birch. Over to 53, Reitzner. And Dole has to clear it away. It'll be a corner kick for the Chargers. Xander Powell over to the near corner. Powell side spinning ball in. Nato knees it away. Number 27, Boatwright's there. Deflected by Hamlin. Schumacher comes in to play it. Thomas comes in and gets caught with the handball. And that's a dangerous spot to give up a handball for the Cougars. It'll be a free kick just outside the box. Early chance for the Chargers. Stewart's there, gets a hand on it and is able to scoop it up. Good strike by Xander Powell for the Chargers. Cougars kill the early threat. Stewart out to Perigin. Perigin trying to volley it through. Juggling to the far side, cuts it back. Perigin being defended by number 30, that's Scher. Chargers play it into possession on the back line. Number 27, Boatwright, wins it down with his chest, played to the near side for number 67, Roman Solomon. He plays it all the way over the top, and Stewart's there in the box to grab it. Stewart punts it away into the middle of the field. First touched by number 18, Sergio Solomon. Perigin plays it up to Clevenger. Clevenger tries to sneak it through, deflected off of Judson Morrison. Over to the far side and out of play. It will be a throw for the Cougars. Perigin over to take the throw. Down the line and out of play on the Chargers on Solomon. Another throw for the Cougars. Nelson takes the short throw to Perigin. Perigin chips it over the top. Nobody's there and it goes out the end line. Will be a goal kick for the Chargers. Lighthouse Chargers out of Springfield. Ball into the middle of the field. Perigin wins the header up to Clevenger. Windy day here. Clevenger tracks back to win it, takes the shot, and sends it over the goal. It will be another goal kick for the Chargers. Ball spins to the middle. Schumacher is able to get a chest on it into the middle of the field. Brandon Schumacher comes in, heads it back to Perigin in the center circle. Perigin's able to get space. Plays it to the far side on a missed touch, and it'll be a throw in for the Chargers. Sergio Solomon over there to take the throw. Down the line, Bennett Thomas steps in and wins. Thomas over the top. Clevenger chases as number 9, Morrison's on the ball, plays it down the line. Perigin steals. Tries to get a touch back to the middle, stolen away by the Chargers. Up ahead to Powell. Powell carrying, looking on the switch, plays it through. Meningus is there to clear. Into space in the center circle. Number 16, Roman Solomon steps up and plays it into possession for the Chargers. Morrison over to the far side for Sergio Solomon. Nelson comes in and steals. Challenge on the ball by Scher. And the Cougars win the throw-in. Nelson plays it into Perigin. Perigin over the top for Kason Hamlin. Hamlin challenging on the ball. Number 27, Boatwright's able to win it into the middle. Schumacher gets a touch. Brandon Schumacher, good feet to win that into possession for Hamlin. Hamlin looking on the connection. Challenged by number 53, Reitzner. Reitzner is still in possession as Hamlin challenges. Sent back to Boatwright, who sends it over the top. Dole gets a touch with his knee but can't control it. Sent over the top by Powell. Oliver Birch on the chase. Gets a touch back and scores the goal. And the Chargers take the 1-0 lead. Stewart gets caught with a little miscommunication there by Stewart as he came out of the box, or off his line, I should say, and got lost on what to do there. So early goal for the Chargers, 32. Clock is still running. It should stop. All right, we're back into live action. Cougars restart play. Dole on the ground to Ben Schumacher. He's able to turn. Schumacher carries, gets through the first challenge. That's number 44, Hay. Over to Nelson to Clevenger. Clevenger looking for space. Takes the strike and well over the goal. Goal kick, Chargers. Restart taken into the middle. Bounces over the first line. Dole's there. Dole gets around it. Plays it over to the near side. Dole on the ground to Brandon Schumacher. Schumacher looking at his option. Plays it down the line for Hamlin. Hamlin one touch to Perigin. 1-2 down the line for Hamlin to chase. And that's too heavy. Goes out the end line. Goal kick for the Chargers.
Get it back, Greg. Let's go. Heads up. Win this.
Judson Morrison back to take the goal kick. Plays a driving ball into the middle. Nato gets the first touch. Can't control it. Over to number 5, Eddings. Eddings back into the middle of the field. Brandon Schumacher steps up, plays it over the top. Roman Solomon there to get a touch. Hamlin wins it back to Clevenger. Clevenger in the center circle, looking to switch the field. Nelson's on the backside, headed back into the middle. Perigin settles it. Perigin takes the strike. And way off the mark. Goal kick for the Chargers. Cougars have taken about 5 shots from 30 plus out. None of them close to the goal. They're going to have to make an adjustment here. Ball played out to the near side. Played down the line. Dole's there. Wins it back to Brandon Schumacher on the near side, but too heavy out of play. Throw in for the Chargers. Number 53, Jack Rietzner, down to take the throw. Drops it back to 27, Boatwright. Played into the air. Dole heads it up. Challenge at the top by Meningus and Powell. Eddings over there. Shot blocked by Edgar Nato. Back into possession. Chargers over the top. Stewart steps up and grabs it off the hop. Cougars playing into the wind this first half. Stewart bouncing ball over the top. Clevenger's there, wins it down with his chest. Plays it through to Nelson. And Nelson's called for offside. And let's take a look back at that on replay and see if we can tell. It's hard to see, but it looks like Nelson was off. Ball played back on the restart after the offside call. Into possession in the middle of the field for the Chargers. Chargers chip it in over Meningus' head. Stewart steps up off his line and is able to scoop it up. Stewart punts it away into the middle. Clevenger gets the first touch. He's able to win it back. Clevenger with his left over the top for Hamlin on the run. Hamlin being defended by Boatwright. And the Chargers are able to clear right to Perigin, though. Perigin steps in, takes the strike, and saved by the keeper, Wyatt Clough. Clough punts it away to the near side. Goes over the first touch of Michael Harris. Brandon Schumacher plays it down. Stolen back by number 53, Rietzner. Ball in the middle, Ben Schumacher steals. Through to Perigin with space. Clevenger takes the run. Perigin, good time to run to Clevenger. Clevenger one-on-one with the keeper and deflected by Clough off the post, and it will be a corner kick for the Cougars.
Hey, good work. Come on, Greg. Keep going, guys. That's a corner kick. He touched the ball.
Restart on the corner, on the goal kick. They missed the touch. Pretty obvious touch from here. Number 22, Powell on the ball. Bennett Thomas comes in, makes a nice tackle into possession for Nato. Nato down the line for Nelson as he checks back, gets it and turns it wide. Number 10, Demara defending. Nelson wins the possession and knocks it off Demara, throwing for the Cougars. Nelson takes the big throw up to Perigin. Perigin trying to find the ball into the corner, sends it across. Clevenger one time gets the deflection, slides in with the keeper, and it's a possession for the Chargers.
Come on, boys, let's go. Let's get it.
Driving ball through the middle. Nato gets the first touch, can't control it. Slides through to Eddings. He can't control it either as Thomas plays it to the far side. Nelson tracks back for the ball, being challenged by number 30, Shayer. Perigin wins it, plays it through, deflected away by number 9, Morrison. In the middle field for Ben Schumacher. Schumacher to Perigin on the 1-2, back to Schumacher out in front. Schumacher plays it through to Hamlin, and Hamlin didn't find the run, cleared away by the Chargers. Reitzner back into the middle for number 1, Harris. Back to Reitzner on the far side. Reitzner plays it over the top. Thomas is there, tries to turn, being defended by Eddings. Clips it back in the middle, no one there for the Cougars. Chargers possess. Number 30, Chair, into the box, and Stewart's there to scoop it up. Stewart punts it over the top. Top spinning ball. Into the middle. Eli Hay wins it to the far side for number 30, Share. Sent all the way into the box, and Stewart's there. Stewart top spinning ball into the middle. Perigin gets the first touch. Is able to settle it and turn. Plays it over the top for Nelson on the run. Nelson gets there, gets a touch into the box, touches it back to Clevenger. Clevenger strikes and can't get it on frame. Sends it over the goal. Another goal kick for the Chargers.
Let's go, boys. Keep it up. Hey, good work. Good ball.
Sub coming in the game for the Cougars. Max Anreder switching to the back line. Gavin Dole switching to a defensive mid position as Edgar Nato takes a break. Chargers restart out of the back to the near side. Number 27, Boatwright. Played right to the camera, and out of play will be a throw for the Cougars. Ben Schumacher here to take the throw, gives it to his brother Brandon in the middle. Brandon has switched to that defensive mid position, gives it back to Dole. Dole to Schumacher into space, played over the top on the charge by Connor Vick, and all the way into the box for Stewart. Stewart side spinning ball in the middle. Brandon Schumacher gets the first touch to settle. Plays it through to Clevenger. Clevenger settles and turns, tries to play it through to Nelson, deflected by Morrison, and out of play, throw in for the Cougars on the far side. Liam Nelson back to Brandon Schumacher. He settles, has some pressure. Schumacher fights with Eddings on the far side, loses the ball. Eddings into the middle for number 22, Powell. Powell plays it to the wide side for Vick. Perigin's able to come back and win the ball. And clears it out on the far side. It'll be a throw for the Chargers. Throwing down the line, deflected by Nelson, out of play. Another throw for the Chargers. Again down the line. Titus Eadings into the Cougars. Nelson played it into Clevenger. Perigin plays it through. Hamlin comes to a challenge. Hamlin gets a touch on the ball. Won by Jaron Boatwright. Played onto the ground as Max Anreder's there to steal. Anreder across the middle for Schumacher. Brandon Schumacher there. Can't control it. Stolen away by Vick. Vick through. Meningus comes over to win it. Meningus plays it out on the sideline, and a throw for the Chargers. Connor Vick over to take the throw for the Chargers. throw rolls across the middle. Dole's there to clear it. Side spinning ball in the middle, held up by the wind. Sent back in by Roman Solomon. To the top, Meningus there, heads it away. Bennett Thomas challenging with Edings. Titus Edings into the middle for Vic. Vic back to Edings on the far side. Over to Powell. Challenged by Clevenger on number 44, Hay. Clevenger's able to get it back on the clear. Clevenger switching the field to Hamlin. Hamlin settles, plays it through for Perigin to chase. The keeper, Clough, comes up and clears it all the way into the middle of the field, bounces over the first line. Meningus is able to settle. Gets it back to Ben Schumacher in the center. Schumacher plays it through to Clevenger. Clevenger lets it roll to turn, plays it through to Nelson. Good action by the Cougars into the box. Nelson, one more touch, cuts it back, and doesn't get enough on it as the Chargers are able to steal. Brandon Schumacher comes over to defend Vic. Vic gets past the first line. Meningus comes up to challenge. Vic back on the ball. Dole comes over, clears it back to the far side off of Vic's head. And number 22, Xander Powell, able to keep it in play. Back into the middle for Birch. Stolen by Ben Schumacher up to Perigin. Perigin's able to see it. Clevenger is a step off and played through. And it'll be a free kick for the Chargers. Restart a play, back into the middle. Perigin gets the first touch. Perigin out ahead. Makes a touch, makes a move into the box. Tries to play it through to Clevenger, deflected away by Roman Solomon, and will be a throw in on the far side for the Cougars. Under 20 minutes to play here in the opening half. Chargers leading 1-0. Perigin into Nelson. Nelson back to Perigin, sent across the box. Clevenger's there to settle with his chest. Turns and shoots and puts it off the frame. Looked like a good strike. See if we can tell on the replay if that was just over the goal or to the side of the goal. I couldn't really tell in live action. All right, restart a play. We have a sub coming in the game for the Cougars. Ruben Brake subbing in on the near side for Cason Hamlin. Anritter is able to settle on the goal kick into the Brandon Schumacher, one touch to Ben. And back to Brandon on the back line, or in the center circle, I should say. Drop back to the back line for Meningus. Meningus to the far side for Thomas. Thomas is able to open up to see the field. Plays it over the top for Perigin. A little too heavy as Morrison's there. Touched, but Nelson steals. Played into the 1-2 for Nelson with Perigin. Back to Perigin at the top. Perigin plays it across to Ben Schumacher on the run. Can't get to it. Schumacher tracks back for the ball. Chips it over the top for Perigin. Perigin into the box. Takes the shot and sends it wide of the frame. Good opportunity for the Cougars.
Keep it up, Green. Keep it up.
But can't find the back of the net.
Michael, you got it. Let's go. Come on. Come on, this is it. Let's go.
All right, restart a play will be a goal kick for the Chargers. A couple more subs coming in the game. Number 16, Oliver Birch subbing back out. Number 4, let's see, I don't have number 4 on the roster. Number 4 in the game on the near side.
Come on, boys. Here we go.
Number 15, River Moss, also in the game on the back line for the Chargers. Back spinning ball, short, breaks there. Wins it down with his shoulder. Schumacher pokes it ahead. Over to the near side. Boatwright plays it down the line. Max Anretter's there. Settles it down with his chest. Has time. Anretter back to the middle for Brandon Schumacher. Has a challenge coming. Tries to turn. Schumacher's able to fight back for the ball, is able to win it in the circle. And Schumacher draws the foul. Be a free kick for the Cougars. Gavin Dole comes up to take the free kick. Driving ball up to Clevenger. Clevenger gets a touch to try to turn. Being challenged, Clevenger stays on, takes the shot. And the bouncing ball rolls into Wyatt Clough to make the save. Clough again punts away, top spinning ball. Dole gives him space, heads it into the air. Meningus is there to help. Dole sends it high into the air, and Stewart's there to grab it. Stewart, low ball into the middle, bounces over the first line. Won by Rietzner, into the middle, into the back line. Morrison plays it over the top. Meningus, good header into space for Perigin. Perigin tries to play it through, deflected by Morrison. Back into possession for Powell. Powell looking for an option as Brandon Schumacher defends. Drops it back to his back line. Over to number 1, Michael Harris. Played through as Meningus steps, gets it to Ben Schumacher into space for Perigin. Perigin over the top for Nelson on the run. Clough is out and makes a good read on it as Nelson made a little heavy touch. And the Chargers are able to kill another threat. Clough top spinning ball, bounces for Powell. Powell's able to settle and turn. Tries to play it through. Meningus, another good step over to Brandon Schumacher. Schumacher makes a move to get to space for Ben Schumacher. Up to Perigin with space in the middle again. Another attack as Perigin makes the move. Perigin carrying. Makes a move on the last defender. It gets through. Perigin takes the strike. And again over the goal. And the Cougars, another decent opportunity. Can't get it on frame. Under 15 to play here in the first. Chargers still leading 1-0. Restart a play over the first line. Brandon Schumacher comes to challenge with number 4, Eli Hay. Bennett Thomas settles it down with his chest, plays it over the top. Clevenger comes back to challenge on Michael Harris. Harris gets it over to 53, Rietzner. Ben Schumacher there to challenge. Rietzner makes the Maradona turn. Still on the ball. Cuts it through. That's number 16, Oliver Birch, carrying to the far side as he plays it to Vick. Oliver Vick back to Birch. I'm sorry, that was Connor Vick. Connor Vick back to Oliver Birch. Ben Schumacher steals, gets it up to Clevenger. Clevenger to Perigin. Nelson's off, so he'll have to hold. Gets back on side as Perigin tries to play it over the top. And handball called on the send, and it'll be a free kick for the Cougars. Around 35 out, restart a play. Perigin chops it in for Clevenger. Clevenger gets a touch on it, tries to head it in, and it's a goal kick for the Chargers. Looked like it went off of Clough, but ruled a goal kick. Let's see if we can see that on the replay. Not sure on the replay who it went off of, but it is a restart as a goal kick. Chargers played out of the back to the far side. Across the middle. Boatwright gets to the ball. Ruben Brake on the near side to defend. Boatwright stays on it. Carrying down the line, plays it over the top. Dole there gets a touch. Settled by Oliver Birch. Birch carrying in. Makes a move as Dole's able to win the challenge. Dole carrying down the line as the challenge comes back from number 30, Shayer. And foul called on Dole on the last challenge. It will be a free kick for the Chargers. Number Number 30, Share sends it into the box. Thomas tries to head it away. Eating's there on the far side to settle. Brandon Schumacher comes in, gets a deflection. Eating still on the ball, carries to the far sideline. Into the middle. Number 44, Hay, checks back. Schumacher comes in to challenge. Vic's able to win it, plays it over the top, and way off frame will be a goal kick for the Cougars. Gavin Dole takes the goal kick, gets over the first line to Clevenger. Clevenger in the center circle tries to chop it through. Harris there to challenge. Clevenger gets back on his feet, plays it through for Nelson. Good ball. Nelson into the box, takes the strike, and great save by Wyatt Clough to kill the threat. Corner kick for the Cougars. Hudson Clevenger coming over to take the corner kick on the far side. Couple subs at the line waiting to sub in for the Chargers. Clevenger takes the corner, side spinning ball, headed away by Vic. Into the middle for Hay. Hay's got some space in front. Brandon Schumacher challenging back. Hay plays it through, deflected away by Bennett Thomas. Dole is able to step in and clear it. Back to Vic. Perigin comes to pressure, played to the far side. Brandon Schumacher pokes it away. Back to Sergio Solomon, into the middle of the field for Harris. Harris is able to settle, play across to number 16, Birch. Birch into the box. Anritter, good job marking number 30, Share. And Stewart's able to come up to grab the ball. Stewart top spinning ball, back into play. Clevenger comes on the challenge. Boatwright's able to get it and clear it back into the attacking third. Dole heads it into the air. Anritter heads it again. Birch settles. Tries to poke it through. Gets to Dole, played to the top. Touched by Hay and shot over the goal. Goal kick for the Cougars. Restart a play on the goal kick for the Cougars as some subs come in the game for the Chargers. Number 22, Xander Powell back in the game. Brandon Schumacher plays it up to Clevenger, over the top for Nelson. Cleared away by Solomon. Back to Perigin and Nelson fight for the ball. Number 53, Rietzner. Perigin challenges, Rietzner gets through, plays it to the middle for Powell to turn. Powell through as Meningus is there, gets the touch to clear. Thomas being challenged by Edings. Thomas clears it off Edings. He's able to keep it in play in the corner. Back to Connor Vick. Up to the top for Eli Hay. Hay turns, switches the field over here to the near side for Jaron Boatwright. Ribbon break comes to challenge. Boatwright still on the ball, plays it in. Dole's there, plays it up with his left. Clevenger's able to connect, leaves it for Perigin. Perigin over the top for Nelson. Another good run to Nelson. Nelson holds up play. Plays it back to Perigin. Perigin settles. Gets challenged by number 15, River Moss. And River Moss still in possession. Played to the far side as Edings tries to connect. Plays it back into the middle for Schumacher. Brandon Schumacher to Perigin. Perigin chips it wide. Number 18, Sergio Solomon deflects, and it'll be a throw for the Cougars. Perigin back into Nelson. Hayes and Nelson challenge for the ball. Nelson back to Perigin. Perigin's able to keep it in on the line, and Solomon knocks it out. Throw in again for the Cougars. Perigin right there for the throw. Plays it through for Schumacher. Ben Schumacher tries to win it. Gets a touch ahead. Schumacher carries, plays it across. Nobody's there to connect. And Morrison clears it away. Bennett Thomas sends it back in. Perigin heads it forward to Clevenger. Clevenger Maradonas. One more move. Clevenger into the box and cleared away by Boatwright. It'll be another corner kick for the Cougars.
Go Cougars!
6:15 on the official clock. Sent in, goes through everybody. Peregrina's there on the backside to get it. Has some pressure coming, cuts it wide to Ruben Brake. Brake into Ben Schumacher, tries to turn. Schumacher on the ball, deflected, cleared away by the Chargers. Into the middle as Brandon Schumacher comes in, makes the tackle. Over to the far side, number 53, Rietzner, challenges for the ball and knocked off of Brandon Schumacher. Will be a throw for the Chargers. Another sub coming in the game for the Chargers. Eli Hayes gets the throw in over to Rietzner. Meninga steps in and clears it. Clevenger's there, gets the first touch in the center circle, cuts it through to Ben Schumacher. Schumacher gets a touch ahead, still on the ball. Schumacher looking for an option, gets it to Peregrine. Peregrine back to Schumacher, deflected away by the Chargers. Peregrine challenges for the ball and cleared away by the Chargers to the near side. That was Hayes. Max Anreder here on the near side is able to settle, plays it into the middle for Brandon Schumacher. Schumacher settles, cuts it back into the middle. Back to the back line for Dole as he steps in. Stolen away by Birch. Up to Powell. Powell on the through ball to Birch. Up ahead. And Birch takes the shot and scores the goal. Two 2-0 Chargers. They can take a look at that on replay as Birch plays this 1-2 connection with Powell. Stewart never left his line and just got caught way too far back on that play. You got to read that 1-2, and Stewart's got to step up and win that ball. Back into possession, Dole on the ground to Schumacher. One touch in the middle, stolen away. Hayes over to Eadings. Brandon Schumacher challenges back. Rietzner in possession to Hayes. Hayes in the middle for Powell. Meninga steps up to challenge. Powell fighting for the ball as Peregrina's able to steal. Gets it to Ben Schumacher. Ben draws the foul on Hayes. It'll be a free kick for the Cougars. 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Peregrine over the top. Morrison gets a touch out of the air, plays it to the far side. And out of play, throwing for the Cougars. Nelson over there to take the throw. Into Clevenger. Back to Nelson. Nelson plays it into the air. Foul called on the Chargers as River Moss comes through Peregrine's back, and it'll be a free kick for the Cougars. Kind of a careless foul by the Chargers in that spot. Hudson Clevenger will get the free kick. Clevenger chips it in. Ball rolls to Scher, played to the near side, out of play. It'll be a throw in for the Cougars. Max Anreder there to take the throw, gets it to Peregrine. Peregrine tries to turn, cleared away by Boatwright with his left. Anreder there to settle. Birch comes back to win the ball. Birch cuts it back as Brandon Schumacher comes in to challenge. Xander Powell makes a move to the middle. Powell carrying all the way to the top. Schumacher's able to get back onto challenge. And the foul called in a dangerous spot for the Chargers. Let's take a look at this foul on Schumacher. It'll be a free kick for the Chargers, just about 22 yards out. striking ball goes way over the goal. Goal kick for the Cougars, 2 minutes to play. Perigin high ball to the far side. Nelson's able to win possession. Heads it down to the far side. Being challenged by Solomon. Nelson gets through the challenge. Still carrying. Stolen away by the Chargers. That was Judson Morrison on the challenge. Plays it out to the sideline, and it'll be a throw for the Cougars. Perigin takes the throw to Nelson. Nelson trying to turn, gets it off of Solomon, and another throw for the Cougars. Nelson into Perigin, clipped away by Hayes. Perigin challenging back for the ball. Into possession for Powell. Powell being challenged by Perigin. Perigin's able to steal. Perigin back into the attack. Boatwright comes in and gets the steal. Ben Schumacher comes in, steals it back. Schumacher into possession, carrying through the middle. Schumacher still on the ball. Looking at his options, cuts it through for Perigin off the mark as Boatwright clears. Brandon Schumacher comes back. Xander Powell wins it. Clevenger challenges. Powell played it short to number 53, Rietzner. Over to Eadings. Sent in. Dole clears it away. Good touch by Dole. All the way up to Clevenger in the center circle. Challenged by Hayes. Clevenger's able to control possession as he chips it off of Hayes. Up to Perigin. Clevenger gets away with a little extra. And into possession for the Chargers. Birch sends it across the box, but off the mark. Eddings is there. Sent in, but over the goal. And that will probably do it for the first half. There's the horn where clock's just a little bit off. And we will go to halftime, 10 minutes on the clock. Stewart punts it away, bounces over the first line. Moss lets it roll into the box as Wyatt Clough is there to scoop it up for the Chargers. Back into the middle. Xander Powell gets called for the handball on the bouncing ball. It will be a free kick for the Cougars. Dole back spinning ball up ahead. Into the middle, Ben Schumacher's there to settle. Schumacher touches ahead, finds Perigin on the turn. Perigin takes the strike, and again, sends it over the goal. Goal kick for the Chargers. Chargers play it to the near side. Eadings there with Thomas. Perigin comes in and steals. Perigin on the turn. Plays it through to Clevenger. Connor Vick gets a touch. Perigin steals it back. Vick defending on the line as Perigin carries, sends it across the box. Clevenger on the one touch. Schumacher on the follow. Ben Schumacher there tries to find an angle, drops it back to Clevenger. And cleared away by the Chargers. Powell touches it back to Birch. Powell with a bunch of space in the middle. Back to Birch, who touches wide to Hayes. Hayes sends it over. Meningus there, lets it roll into the box for Stewart to scoop. Stewart punts it away to the middle of the field. Hayes with the first touch, drops to Vick. Connor Vick on the ball with room. Back into the middle for Powell. Xander Powell plays it through. Dole there challenging with Birch. Dole gets a touch, is able to turn back. Dole plays it wide for Ruben Brake on the far side. Brake into the middle. Hayes comes in to steal for the Chargers. Boatwright chips it down the line. Number 53, Reisner connects, plays it to Birch, and Dole comes in on the tackle. There'll be a throw in on the far side for the Chargers. Lost our ball boys apparently. Rietzner over there for the throw, gets it to Birch. Perigin comes in, shields and steals. Clears the ball to the far side all the way down the line. Judson Morrison chases back for it, still in play. Morrison dribbles up ahead, sends it back into the middle. Schumacher can't get the first touch, falls through to Birch. Birch sends it into the middle. Xander Powell there to settle, being defended by Meningus. Meningus through, Dole's there to clear, gets it back to Meningus. Meningus finds space to get it back up to the middle of the field. Roman Solomon steps in, Nelson challenging. Nelson's able to win the ball, gets it to Brandon Schumacher in the middle. Brandon Schumacher carrying with space. Plays it for Ben Schumacher, stolen back by number 53, Jack Rietzner. Makes the Maradona turn. Up to Powell. Meningus steps in and steals, gets it to Ben Schumacher in the middle. Hayes comes up to challenge. Schumacher gets it wide to Perigin. Perigin back to Ben. Ben up to Michael Perigin, over the top for Clevenger on the run. Moss gets a touch on it. Clevenger stays on it. Gets it over to Nelson. Nelson to Clevenger, chipped into the box. Roman Solomon there clears it to the near side, out of play, throw in for the Cougars.
Here we go.
Kason Hamlin subbing back in the game for the Cougars as Ruben Brake subs out on the far side, playing that left mid, left wing position. On the restart of the play, Liam Nelson will take the throw. Perigin at the top of the box, being defended by River Moss. Ben Schumacher and Brandon Schumacher in those defensive mid positions in the middle of the field. Nelson in to Clevenger. Rietzner steals, tries to turn into Hayes. Hayes one touch. Brandon Schumacher comes and gets the tackle. Liam Nelson and Schumacher collide. Nelson gets to the ball. Nelson makes the tackle, and Rietzner gets called for the foul. Hudson Clevenger over the ball to take the free kick on the restart. Perigin and Hamlin wide on the left side of the box. Ben, Brandon, and Liam in the box. Clevenger chips it over. Ben Schumacher there to head it. Morrison gets ahead on it to clear. Hamlin fights back for the ball, cleared away by number 30, Shayer. And foul called on the play. It will be another free kick for the Cougars. Perigin over the ball this time to take the free kick. He's going to ask for space. Perigin sends the spinning ball in, but way over the goal. And a goal kick for the Chargers. 31:40 to play. Chargers leading 2-0. This is definitely the more dominant side of the field to play on. The Chargers are now looking into the sun, and the wind is in the Cougars' favor. So the Cougars are definitely still in this game. Ball played to the far side. Hamlin gets the first touch with his shoulder. Hamlin comes on the challenge, gets it down the line, and out of play will be a throw for the Chargers. Lighthouse Chargers back into play. Hamlin working hard, gets the steal. Finds Perigin. Perigin across the field for Nelson. And too heavy out of play on the end line. Another goal kick for the Chargers. Ball to the near side. Settled down by number 53, Rietzner. Rietzner into the middle. Thomas steps up and steals. Plays it over the top. River Moss gets a touch. Nelson comes in on the challenge. Cleared away into the middle for Ben Schumacher. Schumacher settles. Plays it to Perigin. Continues the run. Perigin on the ball. Perigin being defended. Plays it over to Nelson on the near side. Nelson chases the ball. Roman Solomon comes to pressure. Nelson cuts it back. across the box, sends it the backside for Hamlin. Hamlin gets a touch in, and Morrison's there to clear it away. Anredder comes down to chase for the ball. It's going to go out of bounds on the far side. Throw in for the Cougars. Anredder into Perigin. Perigin challenged from behind. Play on as Schumacher gets a touch to Clevenger. Clevenger back to Perigin. Perigin cuts into the middle. Hayes gets a touch on it. Perigin takes the shot. And can't get it on frame. Goal kick for the Chargers. Morrison plays the driving ball. Ben Schumacher gets the first touch to settle. Leaves it for Hamlin. Hamlin into Perigin. Perigin tries to turn, deflected away. Clevenger's to the ball. Perigin comes back to it. Plays it through to Nelson. Nelson deflects. And Wyatt Clough comes on to scoop it up for the Chargers. Clough low ball in the middle. Brandon Schumacher gets a touch with his knee. Can't settle. Rietzner there on the ball for the Chargers. Drops it back for Moss. River Moss to the near side. Bouncing ball out of play right here in front of the camera. Will be a throw in for the Cougars. Bennett Thomas takes the throw to Perigin. Perigin's able to turn. Rietzner defending. Perigin tries to get down the line. He's still on the ball. Perigin makes a move, gets around Solomon into the box, gets fouled from behind, and that'll probably be a yellow card on the promising attack. Perigin takes the restart, ball in. Clevenger can't get a touch on it. Goes all the way to the corner. And out of bounds for a throw-in for the Chargers. Quickly in by number 27 Boatwright to Shayer. Into the middle of the field, Brandon Schumacher gets a touch on it, is able to settle. Plays it through to Ben. Ben gets challenged from behind. Cleared away by Shayer. Brandon Schumacher comes in to challenge. And out of bounds throw-in for the Chargers. Subs at the line for the Chargers. Rietzner subbing out as number 20 Connor Vick is back in the game. Throw in down the line. Dole there. Is able to settle. Dole plays it down the line, deflected away by Oliver Birch. And it'll be a throw for the Cougars on the far side. Gavin Dole into the middle for Perigin. Perigin tries to touch it back to Dole, not hard enough as Birch comes in and steals. Birch makes a move in the middle. Perigin comes in and is able to take it away. And foul called on Birch. Will be a free kick for the Cougars. Perigin takes the driving ball up ahead, goes all the way into the box. And Wyatt Clough in the goal is able to scoop it up. Back into the middle. Perigin gets a touch with his knees, able to win it down to Dole. Over to Ben Schumacher looking to turn. Schumacher back to Brandon. One touch to Perigin. Perigin plays it through, too heavy. And all the way out the end line, it will be a goal kick for the Chargers.
Right here, guys, watch it. Right here, right here.
Morrison there to take the restart. Back spinning ball to the near side. Vick and Eadings come in. Nelson's there. Nelson gets a touch on it, trying to turn. Vick pressuring. Nelson turns into the middle. Nelson on the run, still on the ball, being defended by Vick. Vick's able to clear it away. Hamlin's over there. Hamlin tries to turn, being defended by Boatwright. Hamlin cuts it back, plays it through to Nelson. Nelson can't get the touch. Solomon clears away, but Clevenger's right there at the top. Gets a touch. Clevenger goes to his left, takes the shot, but sends it over the goal. And another goal kick for the Chargers. Morrison takes the restart to the far side. That goes out of play. It'll be a throw for the Cougars. Max Anreder over there to take the throw. Gets it into the middle for Perigin. Perigin plays it down back to Dole. Dole to Perigin on the pivot. Xander Powell comes to challenge. Perigin down the line for Hamlin. Hamlin being defended by Boatwright. Hamlin still challenging on the ball as Boatwright gets it into the corner. He's able to clear it away, but it'll be a throw for the Cougars. Perigin takes the throw into Clevenger. Clevenger back to Perigin. Spinning ball across, bounces through. Solomon sends it into the air. Clough touches it down, still in the box. Dole steps up on the clear. Dole pokes it in. Played on the ground by Michael Harris. Up to Powell. Brandon Schumacher comes back to defend. Over to the far side. Chipped into the middle. Max Anreder heads it down. Vinton Scher on the far side for the Chargers to take the throw. Another sub coming in the game as Vic subs out. Jack Rietzner subbing back in the game for the Chargers. Number 10, Demara over there with Anreder. Anreder plays it back to Dole. Dole back to Anreder on the corner. Up ahead, Harris and Schumacher challenge. Ben Schumacher there on the run. Harris gets a touch, is able to turn back. Perigin comes in to challenge on Scher. Back into Harris. Harris plays it to Powell. Powell turns. Brandon Schumacher steps and wins the ball. Schumacher tries to chip it through. Harris steals. Back to Powell, takes the strike, and goes wide of the frame. Goal kick for the Cougars. Dole restarts the play on the goal kick. Good back spinning ball to the middle. Moss steps up, gets the first touch, falls to Perigin. Perigin plays Nelson on the near side over the top. Nelson has time. Solomon clears it away. And throw in for the Cougars. Nelson throws it in, gets it all the way to Perigin in the box. Perigin cuts it back, takes the shot. Well defended by Morrison to clear the threat. Gets it out to Edens on the near side. Being defended by Thomas. Edens gets a touch. Brandon Schumacher comes on the challenge. Meningus comes, good tackle by Meningus. Wins it back, plays it in the middle for Dole. Dole touches wide to Thomas. Thomas gets it out of bounds on the near side. It'll be a throw for the Chargers. Roman Solomon takes the throw down the line, finds Edens. Meningus again comes in, is able to clear it away. Another throw for the Chargers. .20 to play. Number 53, Jack Rietzner there to take the throw. Gets it to Powell. Xander Powell drops it back to Rietzner. Powell's onside, plays it across with his left. Dole with his shoulder wins it down. Falls to Thomas. Thomas tries to send it away. Rietzner heads it back into Powell. Powell makes a move to the edge, gets through. Meningus is there, touches it away, but corner kick for the Chargers. Ball sent to the top. Powell's there to settle. Plays the three-toe. Deflected by Birch, but can't get it on frame. And a goal kick for the Cougars. Perigin sends the goal kick over the top. Moss heads it back into the middle. Ben Schumacher's there to settle. Back to Brandon. To Perigin on the run. Perigin pokes through. Harris defends, plays it to the far side for Hayes. Hamlin chases back. Hayes plays it down the line. Anredder steps on Birch. Birch is able to keep it in on the far side. Back to Hayes, who sends it over the top. Birch chips it in. Dole there. Dole clears it away. Harris gets a touch back wide. Harris sends it in the air. Stewart comes up, and after the bounce is able to secure it. Stewart, good ball into the middle. Hudson Clevenger gets the first touch into the air. Hayes defending. Clevenger's able to shield, looking for an option, plays it through to Nelson. Moss comes in, shields it down. Gets the pass through. Meningus is there, clears it away to the near side. And that's out of play. It'll be a throw for the Chargers. Roman Solomon there to take the throw. The senior fullback. Into the middle. Ben Schumacher there gets a touch into the center circle. Schumacher plays it through to Clevenger on the turn. Clevenger over the top for Perigin on the run. Good ball. Moss defending. Perigin's able to keep it in and take the shot, but puts it off the side of the net. And it'll be a goal kick for the Chargers. Restart a play. Hamlin gets a touch in. Anredder steps up, tries to get it to Schumacher, stolen away by Hayes. Anredder steals it back. Wide to Hamlin. Hamlin looking to turn. Plays it back to Anredder on the far side. Anredder back down the line. And out of play, throw in for the Chargers. Back into the middle. Anredder heads it down to Ben Schumacher. Schumacher touches to Perigin. Perigin too heavy over the top, out of play on the end line. Goal kick for the Chargers. All right, restart a play on the goal kick. Judson Morrison back to take the kick again. Back spinning ball. Ben Schumacher there first. Can't control it. Lost in the middle of the field. Birch is able to win it. Hayes gets a touch back to the middle. Dole there. Dole makes a turn. Number 28 steals it for the Chargers. Ball sent into the box, and Stewart's there to grab it out of the air. Bounces through the first line. Morrison there settles, plays it into the air. Brandon Schumacher there heads it back into the middle. Nelson comes in, number 22. Xander Powell's able to win the ball back. Brandon Schumacher wins it back in the middle, gets it to Ben. Ben up to Clevenger. Hudson turns, plays it over the top for Liam Nelson. And Nelson fouls Solomon on the challenge. It'll be a free kick for the Chargers. .16 minutes left to play. 2-0 the lead. Played here to the near side for number 53, Jack Reesner. Plays it in the middle, stolen by Perigin. Perigin looks ahead, finds Hudson Clevenger. Off the mark, though, as Moss steps in and clears it all the way to the back line. Dole settles, plays it wide to Thomas. Thomas gets a touchdown with his knee, stolen by Reesner. Reesner into the middle for Powell. Powell across the field. Hayes plays it into Birch. Birch back to Hayes, chips it over the top. Meningus heads it away. Falls to Ben Schumacher, who plays it up to Clevenger on the challenge. Clevenger tracks back to win the ball. He's able to turn. Finds Perigin. Powell comes in to defend and clears it away. And out of play, throw in for the Cougars. Hamlin takes the throw into Ben Schumacher. He's able to settle it down with his chest. Over to Brandon in the center circle. Has pressure coming from behind. Schumacher gets it stolen. Still defending as it gets dropped back to Hayes. Ben Schumacher comes in. Perigin challenging. And foul called on the Cougars. Restart a play to the near side. That's number 5, Titus Eadings. Brandon Schumacher comes in the challenge, wins the ball, plays it into the middle, stolen by Powell, but foul on the play. And it'll be a free kick for the Cougars. Michael Perigin there to take the quick restart. Perigin driving backspin ball. Clevenger on the run. Clevenger heads it in, but the flag is up. And let's see if we can see that on the replay. Couldn't really tell on the replay, but big call by the linesman. Ball comes loose. Clevenger's there, gives it to Perigin. Perigin into the box. Makes another move, takes the shot, deflected off the Chargers. Moss comes in to defend. And Moss clears it out of play. It will be a corner kick for the Cougars. Michael Perigin over there to take the free kick. Low ball in. Schumacher's there, gets a touch. Can't get it directed towards the goal as Powell clears. Eadings challenges with Perigin. Perigin gets a touch on it to turn. Cleared away by Moss up to Eadings. Number 28 for the Chargers on the ball. Clevenger comes in, makes a nice tackle. Gets it over to Perigin. Perigin being defended by Riechner, I'm sorry. Perigin across the box. Nelson's there, tries to turn in the box. 2 players go down, and the Chargers come away with it. Hayes plays it through. Dole's there, steals it, gets it to Brandon Schumacher in the middle. Schumacher tries to turn. Schumacher still on the ball, plays it back to Dole. Dole in a possession, back in the middle. Nelson wins it. Powell's down hurt. Nelson plays it over the top, too heavy. And Xander Powell's down hurt. And we're going to stop the clock on the sub. There'll be a restart as Xander Powell subs off. Drop ball restart to the keeper. Ball into the middle of the field. Harris gets the first touch. Falls to Perigin. Perigin takes the strike. And Wyatt Clough is there to make the save off the hop. Clough punts it away into the middle of the field. Meningis gets it off of his shoulder. Back to Harris. Michael Harris gets it to Riechner. Brandon Schumacher comes in to steal. Riechner tracks back to it. Back to Solomon. Solomon over the top. Meningis there. Heads it into the air. Bennett Thomas comes to challenge number 28 for the Chargers. Heads it down to the near side for Eadings. Meningis clears it to Nelson. Nelson back into the middle. Harris gets a touch but can't control. Falls to Ben Schumacher. Schumacher on the run. Schumacher carries, tracks it back. Hayes comes in to challenge. Ben Schumacher looking for an option. Finds Clevenger in the middle. Clevenger on the run. Solomon comes in and clears it away for the Chargers. Will be a throw for the Cougars on the near side. More subs coming in the game for the Cougars. Edgar Nito subbing in for Max Anredder. Brandon Schumacher is going to switch back to that left fullback as Nato will play the defensive mid position. A couple subs in the game for the Chargers. Cougars have the throw. Liam Nelson there to take it. Up to Perigin. Moss comes in and wins it with his shoulder. Back to Nelson. Nelson to Clevenger over the top for Perigin. Perigin sends it across. Dangerous ball. Falls to Clevenger. Clevenger with his left. And sends it over the goal. And another goal kick for the Chargers. Morrison takes the restart into the middle. Grenada's there, gets the first touch. Tries to play it through, deflected away. Into number 10, Demara. Demara across the middle. Ben Schumacher's there to steal. Drops it back to his brother Brandon. Played wide to Hamlin. Hamlin settles, turns it in, finds Clevenger. Clevenger opens up, finds Perigin in the middle. Perigin through to Ben Schumacher. Schumacher trying to get an angle. And well shielded by Morrison. And Clough, good job stepping up to take away the threat. If he stays on his line there, that's probably a goal, so nice read. Paul played through. Meningus is there to win it. Meningus plays the touch into the middle. Hayes steals. Number 4 for the Chargers wins it back to Hayes. Meningus stopped on the possible handball, but no whistle, and is able to get it free to Clevenger. Over to Perigin, over the top for Nelson. Nelson on the run, Solomon defending. Solomon comes in with the shoulder and waiting for the whistle. And we don't get the call. Schumacher on the far side defending. Brandon Schumacher comes in, plays it across to Clevenger. Clevenger looking through, finds Ben Schumacher. Schumacher gets a touch at the top of the box, trying to settle. Cleared away, Nado's there. Sent back in, but cleared away again by the Chargers. Dole settles, plays it back in. Perigin tries to flick to turn. Perigin fights for the ball. Moss is there, back into the middle. Number 4, Nado steals. And foul called on Nado. Free kick for the Chargers. Over to the far side, Brandon Schumacher heads it over to Hamlin. Hamlin tracks to the sideline to win it. Back to Brandon Schumacher. Schumacher to Dole. Dole into the middle for Ben. Over to Perigin. Michael Perigin looks to have time. Plays it through one more to Nato. Nato looks up the field. Tries to play it through, deflected by Hayes, falls to Perigin. Perigin chips it for Nelson. Nelson's on. Nelson fighting for the turn. Tracks back, plays it across. Clevenger's there, settles with his chest one time, and Hudson Clevenger smashes in the goal. And the Cougars are back in it, 2-1. Great play by Hudson Clevenger. Nelson cuts that ball back and flares it across the middle. Clevenger takes it off the chest and then half volley off the bounce to put it in the near post. Chargers making some more subs. 2-1 now the score, 7:04 on the official clock. Restart of play. Chargers possess out of the back. That's Jaron Boatwright on the far side. Clevenger comes in and steals. Clevenger has time, finds Perigin. Perigin looking to open up, pokes it through. Hayes deflects. Perigin gets back to the ball. Boatwright tries to clear away with his left. Hayes tracks back to the top of the box. Plays it over to Roman Solomon on the near side. Up to Michael Harris, to Hayes. Ben Schumacher comes in and steals. Schumacher back to Gavin Dole as the center back. Dole pokes it through as Birch steals. Birch and Dole challenge for the ball. Dole's able to shield back. Back to Meningus. Meningus plays it through. Ben Schumacher comes in on the challenge, able to turn. Schumacher draws the foul. And free kick for the Cougars. Gavin Dole steps up at midfield to take the free kick. Dole over the top. Clevenger there, heads it forward, and off the crossbar, and out of play. Will be a corner kick for the Cougars. Ben Schumacher coming over to take the corner. Schumacher on the far side. It's a good spinning ball in, headed away by the challengers. Perigin tracks back to win it on Birch. Perigin fights for it on the near side. Harris comes in. Bennett Thomas is able to get a touchback. Birch comes in. Perigin steals. Perigin looking at his option, plays it on the connection to Nelson on the run. Moss comes in on the tackle. Nelson's able to win it. Moss challenges from behind. Nelson and Moss fighting for the ball. Moss is able to clear it to the near side. Harris tracks back for it, has possession, plays it across the middle. Powell touches. Nato comes in and deflects off of Powell, and Powell gets called for the foul on the finishing kick. And it'll be a free kick for the Cougars, 5 minutes to play. Perigin will take the restart after getting space. Clevenger and Hamlin on the backside at the left top of the box. Nato and Ben Schumacher in the middle. Liam Nelson on the right. Perigin over the ball, two-man wall. Driving ball in, and Wyatt Clough is there to make the save with both hands at his chest. 4 minutes to play. Clough, ball in. Brandon Schumacher gets a touch but can't control it. Out of play on the far side. It will be a throw for the challengers. Throw into Edens. Schumacher defending. Edens loses it out of play. Throw for the Cougars. Brandon Schumacher there to take the throw. Into Perigin. Perigin back to Schumacher. Brandon back to Dole. Dole's turning. Gets it to Meningus on the ground. Meningus through the middle. Hayes there. Hayes and Clevenger challenged. Clevenger's able to turn. Hayes pokes it away. Perigin comes in on the tackle. Perigin wins the ball, able to get back up. Ball comes loose to Nato. Nato in the center circle. Being defended by Harris. Drops it back to Thomas. Bennett Thomas on the back line plays it through the middle. Moss settles it with his chest. Ball comes loose as Perigin chips it forward to Clevenger. Ball into trouble as Morrison clears it off the top of the box to the near side for Hayes. Hayes down the line with his left. Is able to keep it in play as it hooks back. Meningus and Harris challenge for the ball and cleared out of play by Nato. Be a throw in for the Chargers. Clock stop. Clock. Clock, who's got the clock? Any sub under 5 minutes by the leading team is a clock stoppage. All right, restart a play on the throw in. Thomas wins it over to Nato, but he can't control it, out of play. And throw in again for the Chargers. Birch takes the throw into Rietzner. Thomas defending. Ball goes all the way away. Perigin hustles over to get the ball. Rietzner and Powell trying to trap it in the corner. Perigin comes in. Rietzner plays it out, and a corner kick for the Chargers. 2 minutes to play. Quick restart. Perigin challenges on Birch. Birch is able to keep the ball. Into the corner. Perigin challenges, wins the ball. Powell comes in on the tackle. Clevenger there, tries to find space. Birch is able to steal it back. And out of bounds corner kick again for the Chargers, 1:30 to play. Powell takes the corner across into the box. Hamlin on the backside. Hamlin trying to find the ball. Number 30, Cher, takes the throw in. Dole heads it down. Cher sends it across. Powell's there. Stewart comes in, is able to win it. 1 minute to play. Stewart punts it away into the middle. Morrison steps up, gets a deflection. Nelson's there. Nelson looks at his options, plays it in the middle for Perigin. Perigin chips it over the top to the near side as Clevenger chases for it. Clevenger's able to keep it in play into the box. Clevenger deflected by Moss. Moss up ahead to Hayes. Nelson comes in to win the ball, and under 30 seconds to play, just over 30 seconds to play, Chargers get a throw. Back into the middle, Meningus is there. Meningus sends it down. Clevenger wins it across to Ben Schumacher. Cleared away all the way through. Eddings is onside. Meningus, good job winning it back. Over to Birch. Challenge in the box. Still loose. Birch is able to win it back to Powell. Powell takes the shot, and Stewart makes the save, and that will do it for the game as the clock goes to 0. Final score, Chargers 2, Cougars 1. Good competitive matchup. Cougars definitely had more opportunities, but just couldn't find the back of the net. Got that one goal late by Hudson Clevenger.